pencil in, I guess, right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole one.
This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America.
Hello everybody, I'm Katie WY7YL and I am very happy to welcome you to the Amateur Radio Roundtable here on W5KUB.com. It's Tuesday, June 11th and I am home back in Sundance, Wyoming and happy to be back on the show to see all of you guys. For those of you that are in the chat room tonight, thanks for joining us and we'll enjoy a lot of conversation during the show. And everybody who's out there watching live, hello. And just found out a couple of my friends out of Colorado. Hi, Ben and hi, Ann. Thanks for joining us for the first time. We've got a great show tonight lined up, and I'm purely biased by that because I'm doing some stuff, and I've got my best friend Chip, K7JA, is going to be talking about Field Day tonight, and Dave, KE0G, is going to be helping us out with shack pictures and helping me make some stuff up about people. And we've got just a variety of different things to talk about tonight. If you haven't already joined us on Facebook, we have a very active group there. We'd love to have you join us. Just search for W5KUB.com and join in our group. We share a lot of great fun things there, helping each other out with information and more. We're also broadcast live on WBCQ 5130. If you're out there listening on shortwave, then please do shoot us an email with our signal report. We'd love to hear how we're doing and where you're listening from. With that, I think I've covered all the bases. If not, Tom will let me know, but I'm going to pass the hat around here a little bit so everyone can say hello before we dive in. So let's go down south of me first over to Colorado. Let's say hi to Dave, KE0OG. Hi, Dave.
Hi, and good to see you. I haven't seen you since Hamvention.
I know, it's been a whole month almost.
Yeah. Keeping busy here. The sun is still up here. And I've got a couple things to just mention. I am going to be in Reno this year. That's the 19th and 20th of July. So back to you.
All right, sounds good. Well, I'm wondering, isn't Reno in July going to be awfully hot down there?
It's dry heat.
Oh, all right. You're one of all right. All right, and let me pop over to, speaking of dry heat, let's pop down to Southern California to Chip, K7JA. Good evening, Chip.
Yeah, I know what you really mean. It's let's switch down to the area of the hot air.
Right. Yeah, you said it. I thought it, but you said it.
Well, good evening, Katie. Good evening, Dave and Tom, and hello to everybody out there. And yes, it's a scary time of year. Why? It's 11 days before Field Day. And no, you're not ready. And oh my goodness, everything is sort of prepared, isn't it? No, of course it's not prepared. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I hope everybody is starting to get that old Field Day fever going. Back to you, Katie.
It sounds good, Chip. Looking forward to it. And now to the man in charge, Mr. Tom Medlin, W5KUB. Where are you, Tom? Hello?
Well, I'm
I
here.
know you said
I'm here.
I'm
here. The thing's just a little slow tonight, but I'm here. Boy, hey, we made it, didn't we? I was kind of wondering what was going on with Skype. You know, I check everything out, test everything. Everything's fine 2 hours before the show, and then when it's time to start the show, Microsoft wants to do an update. I guess I might have to pick up the phone and call Bill Gates if he's still around and find out, if we can't change this where it doesn't do it every Tuesday night. But hey, we're happy to be on a show tonight. We're happy for you and Chip and KE0OG there, Dave, to be with us tonight. A couple of our other co-hosts tonight can't make it. They're working late or whatever. So But you know, our show changes. We're pretty fluid here. We're supposed to have Pat shouting on here tonight, our VHF guy, but he had some issues out of town and was not able to make it back for the show. So we'll have him on next week. We're planning another balloon launch here soon, hopefully. We're going to launch the Super Duper balloon. I don't know if Bill Brown is in here or not, WB8. Let's see, WB8ELK. I don't see him in here, but we're going to get with Bill, and we're going to launch our sushi wrap balloon with hydrogen and using Whisper to track it. So it should be super duper, and we're going to have fun with that. Hopefully we'll do that in the next 3 weeks. Hey, we're going to give out a prize tonight. Katie has donated a prize for the show, so Hambot will be with us tonight. So let's see, what are we going to do first, Katie? You got some pictures, I think, right? You want to talk about hamvention?
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I thought it might be kind of fun since I didn't get a chance to talk about hamvention because kind of as soon as we came back and I missed a show, and then I've been in Fargo helping out with the grandbaby and my daughter-in-law who had some surgery. So just got home this weekend, and I thought, well, let me show off my pictures because I met quite a few people that watched the show and we took photos together. So I thought it'd be fun to be able to at least do a quick pass through of some photos. So I will start sharing here, and I have a bunch of photos, but I will keep moving along. So now where did I put my eyeballs? There they are. Hold on, let me put my glasses on. Ta-da! Make sure I know what I'm seeing. So I got a mix of photos. So obviously you guys know I work for Ham Radio Outlet, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to show you what happens behind the scenes as we got started. So when we showed up, this is what we have to work with, and we actually had already moved some tables out of the way. And there's Robert and Rob Ferrero, our owners. And so they are hands-on, just like all the other owners of companies that you see at Hamvention. But when we arrived, right next to us where we brought our truck in, all of the pallets that were going into Yesu's booth were blocking our path. So so we had to move all of their stuff out of the way so that we could move. But so there's Steve rolling in some of our goods. That's the back of Steve and the back of Robert there. There's our, like I mentioned, Robert Ferrero, our owner, hauling stuff off of the truck. So he gets down and dirty with the rest of us. And there's Rich, our COO's getting stuff off the truck as well. He and our national sales manager actually drove everything down from Milwaukee. Oh, there's Janet. I guess snuck her into the photo too. KL7MF, otherwise known as the lovely and wonderful Janet, wife of Chip, hauling boxes and getting things set up. I snuck over to the KUB booth just because nobody was there yet. I think some of you guys saw that photo on Facebook already, but I just thought it'd be fun to throw that one in there again. So as you can see, as boxes arrive, it starts to get quite the pileup happening in there, but it's progress is being made, and it's really quite the finely tuned operation, getting everything put together and all of the booths stacked and what have you. So you can see how it all starts to come together. Then we have our second building over in Building 2, which is our smaller booth. We call it our satellite booth over by ICOM, and caught Ray and Rob talking while things were getting nearly done and set up. And of course, Ray and 9JA from ICOM. Here's Mick and Jim from Comet. They were getting things up and rolling, and again, thank you to Comet for donating that antenna analyzer that we used as a giveaway during Hamvention. They're great partners and a great help. We had, of course, a little bit of goofing around we were finally done and got to sit on the floor, and there's Alan from Spain and K9PG and K1QX Craig, Chip, K7JA, Mick up there, and myself on the floor. So that's what I've determined. I'm calling it a floor selfie, a floor group selfie, but can't not have a little fun. On Thursday nights, we always go to the ICOM dinner, and this year's theme was, I think, was it Marvel, Chip? What was it? Marvel Comics.
Superheroes.
Superheroes. So there was a picture with Thor, and John Amadeo from Last Man Standing. You guys know John. We grabbed a quick pic with him. It was nice to see. Look at Tom, you goofball. And so here was some more of the crowd. There was Groot and Dr. Evil or something, and I'm not sure what Ray was, but snapped a quick photo. So now we're on to the show. And so first morning, I grabbed a picture with K7BV, Dennis Machenbacher, you guys know from Yesu, who I always tell everybody he's the reason I got into ham radio, and haven't regretted it ever since. And oh gosh, that's kind of blurry. Sorry, those are my guys from the Parker Amateur Radio Club down in Parker, Colorado. And Dan, who's next to me in that photo, was our ham radio operator of the year last year in the Rocky Mountain Division. And I'm sorry, here's one of our viewers, and I didn't catch his name. I apologize, but there we go. There's our selfie. And there's N3ZNI. We had to do a little maneuvering because he's so much taller than I am, but it was great to meet him. And there's Brett, WI7BG. You know, Brett's in the chat room tonight, and always fun to see Brett. And he was hanging out at our booth quite a bit at the KUB and visiting with people, and it was his first hamvention. I hope he had a good time there. There's Andy and Mike from the SDR Play booth. They were down at the end of our booth in Building 2 giving out demonstrations and talking about some of their new things happening with SDR Play. And we at HRO donated one of the SDR Play duos, and I brought Steve Breitman from SDR Play over to the W5KUB booth. You guys might have seen that show, and we gave that away, and he talked a little bit about it, so we appreciate their participation. Oh, there's Chip working away over there, helping out and talking to people. Or pretending to work and talking to people. No, I'm just kidding, Chip. All right, hey, you guys might know any 4RD from the show here. And, oh gosh, I'm forgetting the other folks' names in the booth, but the...
one of them is Russ, the Linux guy.
That's Russ. Yep.
TUX.
Yep, thank you. And so I managed to swing by and get a wave from them. All right, time for our Ham Chicks rule. There's Nisi and... KC9YL and I think it's Ann. Sorry, got that. And there's my buddy Mike and Jeanette, his wife. She's been rocking out. He's had to buy new radios and amplifiers and antennas. They just got married a couple years ago, and she got into ham radio, and she is just diving headfirst and making Q's like a crazy woman's already got her worker states and working about halfway to DXCC already and just having a great time. There's Gordo, of course, sporting his fancy shirt and tie during this day, and boy, all day long you hear his bell ringing and it's a horn as he's signing and meeting people that have used his materials to learn to be a ham or upgrade. And there's always a good line of people there to meet Gordo, and he's just such a highlight and joy to spend some time with there. One of the nice things for me as a YL is the YLRL, the Young Ladies Radio League's booth, is right next to the HRO booth in Building 2. So I was able to regularly keep up with all the ladies. We had a ton of YLs that stopped by and signed the signed the visitors log. And I know Nisi, who's in the chat here tonight, KA1ULN, who was just in the previous photo. She's one of our leaders from her district, and so it was very encouraging and exciting to have so many young ladies out there and visiting. You know me and Don can't ever do anything seriously, so there's Will Banks, 85DW. Just, of course, you have to do a goofy selfie when you're with Don. And there's Steve, W7UDI, my good friend. He does lots of stuff. I thought he might join us tonight, but he's also a volunteer fireman, and tonight is training night. So, hi, Steve. Thanks for seeing you. And Steve and I have our grandchildren. His grandson just turned 1, and my granddaughter's now 6 months. So we're working on an arranged marriage a little ahead of time. So wow. Between the kids, so we're always sending photos. Now here's where I found some really yummy sandwich. I just thought I'd share. If anybody else went to this particular truck, the pulled pork barbecue was really yummy. There's another goofy selfie with Ed, K1EP. We've been doing this for years, and it's just something, no matter where we are, we always have to do it. And, it's just, you can't take yourself too seriously. Now, this photo I thought you guys might find interesting. This is looking into the door at Building 2 during one of the drawings that ICOM had. So they had certain times of the day that they gave away big prizes, and this was one of them, literally. And if you looked inside, you would have seen people halfway through the building as well. It was just, you had to go to another door just to be able to get in, but there was quite an impressive crowd hanging out. Now here's Steve, I was just mentioning, from SDR Play. He was taking a picture with Doug because Doug had shown up just after we did our little giveaway, and that was a little fun. So, of course, we're going to do that. There's Keith, watches the show, KE08EP. It was nice to meet him and get a quick photo. And Dave Tipton, I've known for a long time. He's life member ARRL and out there in the Midwest. And And you guys are not going to believe this, but you guys remember Christopher? KD8YVJ, used to be a lot shorter, but he's just sprouted like crazy. He's, our former, Young Ham of the Year and Hiram Percy Maxim winner and all that good stuff. And Skylar next to him also. So 2 Young Hams of the Year. They were doing presentations, and it was great to see both of them. I had to kind of force Chris to do a photo with me, and then there's Jocelyn, their dad, KD8VRX, and I took that one and sent it out on Twitter to Jocelyn's wife, Kim, to say, hey, look who I found, just to kind of goof around. And then it just so happened all during that time I'm visiting with everybody, Jet Jurgensmeyer walked by with his dad and mom, and so grabbed a quick photo with them, and then, of course, did a picture with him. And you guys, I'm sure, have seen on the Facebook page, on the Mike Baxter page, as well as our page, the video when I interviewed Jet. That was a lot of fun, and he's really quite an amazing young man. All right, the gang from Remote Ham Radio, there's Ray and Lori and Nikki from Ireland, who is actually watching right now. So hi, Nikki, good to see you, and great fun to always see you guys ever so briefly, but it's been fun watching the progress of their company, and get to see Nikki almost every year at Hamvention. And there's Carrie, W9FML. I absolutely love her call sign, but we're just going to leave that one alone for tonight. But Carrie and I are friends on Facebook for quite a long time, and actually finally got to meet in person. So that's one of the things I really love about Hamvention, when I get to be able to meet up with some people that I actually, sort of know. Here's another friend from the show, who I apologize, I didn't get call sign before I nailed it down, but if you're watching, hello, nice to see you, and thanks for the photo. And here's my friends from the Netherlands. These guys, I'm friends with them on Twitter. Oh. So there's me being goofy. They always bring me these Wilhelmina mints, and I don't know if you can show my picture real quick, but they get these yummy mints that they bring me every year, so that's always kind of the running joke. All right, so now here was a whole corner of trouble while I was hanging out with over by the W5KUB with Dave and Rob, and these guys were a lot of fun. And I can't remember which one of them I ran into first, but they had to take a picture with me and then send it off to Dave, because they're like, aha, look who I found. And Dave was out in the flea market, but finally got in and got to meet him in person, which was a lot of fun. And we had a good time visiting the rest of the weekend. There's my friend Bill and Connie. Any of you guys on D-Star would know Connie. She is the queen of D-Star, as we like to call her, and she also is our life support system for Ham Radio Outlet. She brings us cookies every convention we're at, and that's one thing that keeps us all going during the day. There's Rob Macedo, and I'm sorry I'm forgetting Rob's call sign, but he is from the Northeast and was there with ARRL and does a lot with Weather Channel. And there's Joe and Sarah from FEMA. And there's another one of the folks from the Netherlands. And hey, look who we finally ran into each other. Josh and I we started walking by and we're like, oh my gosh, hey, we got to do a quick
look
photo.
at there, Josh made it on the show tonight.
Oh, good. Hey, Josh, yay. With him and I love his goofy sunglasses. There's my friend Lee from VK Land. And there's Ruth, KM4LAO. You guys all know Ruth. She is the satellite queen. And she's been very involved with AMSAT. She was there volunteering and also doing a presentation. And she is just finishing up exams at Kettering University, moving on in her degree. Oh, look at this guy who I found. There's Glenn, KW5GP. I made him stand there and model all the books that he was signing and giving away. He actually went through quite a few and met a lot of folks who use his books and find them very helpful. And it was a lot of fun. And Terry was there helping him out. And another YL from Japan was there. And there is Emmett's booth. I just thought that was a great way to end this all off with Radio Wave, just set it on fire. So that is the end. I'm going to turn off my sharing. I can stop sharing. So that's it in a nutshell. There's my Hamvention for you guys.
Well, that's so cool. It's always great to look back at pictures like that, and you really do a great job on bringing those special people to us here. You from now on, you're our professional photo
selfie taker.
person. Yeah.
I just feel bad for the few folks that I met, and I usually try to take a photo of their call sign badge also, so I remember when I go back and do it, and I neglected to get that, so I apologize to you guys.
It's hard because, Katie, we'll see 10,000, 15,000 people up there, and, stuff kind of gets mixed up after you get tired, after a long day,
Well, you get home and there's so many photos to go through and figure out who was who, and you want to make sure, especially people that you meet for the first time who say they watched the show, I really want to make sure I was able to get a photo so that I could share it, and because I really appreciate it. It's really fun and very humbling when people come up and, hey, I watch you on the show and we love it, and it's really kind of neat, and it's super fun. And I didn't get, there was a really good picture of Teresa and I, but I think it was on her page. I should have.
I've got a picture. I've got a picture of Teresa. I'll pop up here a little later when we do the shack pictures. There's a picture it's in the Facebook group. We're going to do those. What are you eating? You didn't offer me one.
My Wilhelmina mint. I had to sneak one in.
Oh man. Okay. Hey, before we go to Chip, I want to mention one thing. Hey guys, we have a 40-meter net every Tuesday night at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. On 7180, and some nights we get quite a few people, other nights we get of course less, but had a good turnout tonight. And there's one special person in there that checked in the net tonight. I knew of him. He had sent me an email earlier, and he watches the show, and that's Tim, WB8HRO, WB8HRO. And with a call like that, Katie, you would think, and he's wanting to know, why don't you guys give him some royalties for advertising HRO for 50 years? But I don't think HRO's been around that long.
Pretty darn getting close now. It's
is it?
Yeah, it is.
47,
Really close.
I think. It's 47 or 48 years
Wow,
now.
Okay. Well, anyway, let me talk just a second about Tim there. He checked in the net tonight. Signal wasn't awfully just powerful, but we managed to have a QSO with Tim, WB8HRO. And let me tell you a little about Tim, and I want everybody to go to his QRZ page and look him up. WB8HRO. Tim has had some health issues. He's in I think like an assisted living home, but he is so likable that the home has approved him to put antennas up. He has a ham station there where he's staying, and he is just loving it up, man. He thinks it's the best in the world there. Ham radio is his life, and he's really enjoying it. So you guys go out and look WB8HRO up, Tim. And Tim, we salute you tonight, and thanks a lot for joining the net tonight and also watching the show. All right, what else? Let's see. Why don't we let's do Hambot and get that over with. What do you think about that?
We could do that.
You want to do that? Okay, guys, we're going to do Hambot. Now, Hambot's going to give away a prize that Katie has offered to give out tonight. So, here we go. Watch for, if you're new to the room, just if he calls your name, you have to answer in the chat room within a time. So, here's Hambot. So let's see, is Hambot? Yep, Hambot's already started here. We couldn't do without Hambot. I mean, he's
but he's fun.
He's a member of our he's a member of our team. This is for an
Echo. My call sign wrong, Hambot.
What? Hambot, you got her call sign wrong, Hambot. Again. Okay, she will be reprimanded for that. 50 demerits. She got 75% of it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. WY7YL. Okay, looks like Ray K5 UZZ. He won an Echo Dot tonight, donated by Katie. WY7YL. So hey, congratulations there, Ray, for winning that prize. I think you'll like it.
All right, and we're also going to throw in a couple of HRO coasters. So, Ray, I'll look you up on QRZ and get this out in the mail to you. Thanks for playing tonight with Hambot.
All right, very good. Okay, all right. So, what's up next on the agenda here?
All right, let's move on down to Southern California with our special guest extraordinaire, Mr.
And we're going to be
Chip
talking
Marzelli.
with Chip, right?
Yep.
Why don't you tell, we won't do the run the video, but I just had to throw his picture up with Chip. Probably a lot of people,
yeah.
a lot of people that's joined us might not know who Chip is. So, why don't you tell us about Chip?
I can't imagine anybody doesn't know who Chip is at this point.
I think most everybody does.
Yeah. Well, that photo, as you guys may or may not remember, that was from Chip's time on the Jay Leno show when they did the Morse code versus text messaging. How many years ago is that now, Chip?
2014. 14 years ago.
14 years ago.
Wow. And it still gets play. I mean, it's timeless. People love it because it gives a great showing of ham radio, and you guys were, having fun, and it was a great thing. But I got to know, there's that. I was looking for that. I got to meet Chip first when I was working for the ARRL, and I think I can't remember which convention it was. I think it was Pacificon. We were all kind of having booths nearby, and
The first was Orlando, I think.
I think you're right, Orlando. See, it's so many years now, but Chip and Janet and Dwayne and I all became fast and furious friends, and have had a very close relationship to the point that we've even traveled on vacation together, and of course always hang out on at Hamfest and what have you. But Chip has quite the illustrious career with ham radio, and is a very active operator as well. I just saw someone in the chat earlier mention that they worked you on FT8 last weekend, I think it was.
Shh.
Oh, sorry. Oh, or maybe it was 6 meters. Maybe it was 6 meters.
Did someone say FT8? Did you say FT8?
I might have, but I might have been. I think I was reading the chat room without my glasses, so you can't trust it. So Chip has also been out here to Wyoming a couple of times for a field day. We've been on top of the mountains and been through some horrendous storms up there, and the excitement of putting up a V-beam across, the mountains of Wyoming, and deciding to organize a 6 Alpha field day set up when we had 6 people to work. So
4 operators, yeah.
Yeah, 4 operators, but it's been a lot of fun, and we've had great. And Chip and Ward Silver and 0AX came out the first time to Wyoming in 2009 for the ARRL sweepstakes CW, and there's actually a plaque behind me because they came in second, I think it was. Well, anywho, let's talk field day, Chip.
Okay, let's talk field day.
All right.
Here I am.
Here you are. Yay.
Well, hello everybody. And before we get going on field day, you said your VHF person didn't show up. Anybody that has 6 meter capability probably needs to turn it on. 6 has been pretty active. There have been big openings from the Midwest and the East Coast into Europe. There have been openings from a lot of the country, believe it or not, into Japan and Korea and other parts of Asia. And I'm talking not just from the West Coast. Actually, the West Coast is about the worst place. I'm talking Illinois, Indiana, Florida, Colorado, Texas, all throughout the nation. It's a more northerly path than we get here. I've worked a dozen T1HZE on FT8, although he was loud enough for single sideband, frankly. But 6 meters is hopping, and if you have any kind of 6 meter capability, now would be a good time to turn it on. But we're here to talk about field day, and yes, as Katie can attest, I am a bit of a field day junkie. I've been doing it since before I was a ham. I was out with the Radio Club of Tacoma, W7DK, up in Tacoma, Washington, and we go out to W7IG's farm, and he had a landing strip, a private landing strip for his airplane. And so we would set up on either side of the landing strip and in his cow barn and things like that. And it was one of those incredibly quiet locations on the road to Mount Rainier between Tacoma and Mount Rainier. And it was an opportunity for, young hams, new hams like me who really didn't have much of a station at home. It was a chance to put up a 3-element beam and actually be able to turn it, see signals come up and go away depending on which way you were pointing. and really experience something new in ham radio from what I was accustomed to at home. And I think that's really the essence of the appeal of Field Day, is that it gives so many people an opportunity to do new things, different things, try things at home without having to buy something to do it. Somebody else has bought it, see if you like it. If you love it, you can get something yourself or build it yourself. If you hate it, well, just don't do it anymore. But because of that, all these aspects, Field Day has become the most popular operating event on the annual calendar. In 2018, for example, there were 3,000 groups that went out for Field Day throughout North America, mostly in North America. Over 35,000 participants made 1.18 million QSOs. So there's a tremendous amount of activity. It draws people around from all walks of life and all different interest levels, doing one thing in common: putting ham radio on the air before the public, and in the process, hopefully having a lot of fun. Sometimes the fun is a little bit dangerous when it comes to being in close quarters, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So without too much further ado, if it's time to start sharing a screen, I'll fire up here. Katie, would you agree?
All right. I agree. Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. There's this one here. And share my screen, start sharing. And we'll do this from the beginning.
Right. And don't forget to get rid of that little picture of me.
This picture of you is gone.
One. There you go.
There we go.
So are we rocking?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see your password here on this end.
What?
Go ahead.
you
Looks
really,
good.
Tom?
Looks good.
Oh, okay.
Well, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, she's not waking up, so I'll do this. Wakey, wakey. There we go.
There we go.
Okay. We're going to talk about Field Day last year and Field Day this year. Field Day, again, is coming up in about 11 days. And so we really need to review what we did last year with a look to seeing what we can do better. Of course, everything works perfectly on Field Day, right? Not so much. So we'll see what went right, what didn't go right, and what are we darn well going to do about it in order not to make the same idiotic mistakes again. Now, of course, you have to do a lot of things associated with Field Day if you're going to do something in the field, not operate at home. You need to get a site, get permission for the site now that you found a great site. You need to get your power source and antennas organized, figure out your entry class versus the amount of warm bodies you have and crew to put up and take down the antennas. Of course, you have to feed everybody, and that's part of the really fun part of Field Day.
Oh, yeah.
And then once you get it all kind of organized, you need to make it happen. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So, how did you do? For 2018, everybody has their own location. You could have a place on the beach like K7 LED, the Mike and Key Club from the Seattle area, or a nice portable location. That's a fellow up on Mount Rainier with an extremely portable Field Day station. But boy, you can't beat that view, can you?
Wow.
Now, some locations you scope them out, and they're just almost too good to be true.
Wait a minute. Is that 160 meter antenna?
It's Devil's Tower in Wyoming.
That's the biggest tower. Now, I will confess that from Katie and Dwayne's location in Wyoming, on top of Warren Peak, we looked down on Devil's Tower. So it's really good. The problem with a great location like that is you got to get to it, and sometimes the access to the site is maybe just a little more sporty than you thought it might be in play here. Yeah, that's a person up there, and then there's a close-up of the person, and oh my goodness, what are we going to do here? And you get that remote place, it's nice and quiet, but God, you got to lug everything there. One of my worst Field Day experiences was from a place called Skunk Bay, Washington.
Oh boy.
And we had to haul generators and gasoline and antennas through knee-deep mud, and I mean knee-deep, sloppy mud. And the only good news was there really weren't any skunks at Skunk Bay. But, you've always got to have a way to get to the site and then a plan B for getting to the site because the freeway might not always be open. And of course, you need to think about where all the antennas are going to be strong. And if you're going to try to get something really creative, you need to see if your local infrastructure is reliable. No matter how reliable it looks, sometimes that can fall apart. And something like this is going to change your SWR dramatically. So, you need to have one of those antenna tuners that can adjust on the fly and keep your SWR constant no matter what Mother Nature throws at you.
That could have been caused by high power,
Well, yeah, it's some of these fellows run 4 alphas in Colorado or something like that. I don't think that's quite what it means. Now, there are also some perils involved in this site survey thing because you tend to go up when the weather is really nice, and oh boy, what could possibly go wrong with that? Oops.
I wouldn't want to be there.
No,
It
I
looks
wouldn't
like
either.
the lightning we had on field day one year.
Warren Peak, the first time. And of course, your site permissions, you really need to have things very solidly nailed down. You tell somebody you're going to go out there and they say, oh, sure, that's all right. But maybe. That was Gordo, WB6NOA, and he had to explain himself away. Now, of course, we're on field day. There's the generator, the dreaded generator. And the famous last words from field day are, it worked last year.
Yeah.
And this is not just anywhere here in the States. This is, these are a couple of the fellows from the CO0 US operation I was with about 15 years ago from east of Havana, Cuba. And that's Pedro Rodriguez CO2 RP from the Radio Federation down there. And just like up here, it's the generator. It worked last year. And, everybody has to have these captains for various things. You need to be careful about who you appoint as the electrical captain. He may have some attributes that seem to be helpful, but I'm not so sure about that one. Now, of course, every now and then you've got to, get a new generator, and boy, it's really nice and shiny and 5 kilowatts or 3,000 watts or whatever you have. But over the winter after field day, you got to store it right. Otherwise, that new generator will not look nice for very long. And of course, the first time you pull it over at the field day site, if you haven't been maintaining it all through the year, you might get this.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy, and then of course you get 100 bonus points for natural power, and
There you go.
if you put somebody in a bicycle, it's probably best for his figure and probably more in the spirit of things. But sometimes you try to do things, and if you're running too much power, bad things can happen. So whatever you do, review the power guru you had and maybe make some changes. And of course, antennas. You can have the greatest radios in the world, but you got to have antlers to connect them to. And you get a nice antenna farm put together, and it's a beautiful thing. These are all antennas that I have designed over the years for field day, and the one in the upper right there is a 3-element 20-meter beam for this made out of fiberglass fishing poles and wire. And it's up at 9,100 feet in California here with a 4,000-foot drop-off. And the thing weighs all of 16 pounds. So when you're taking something to the hill, something like that is really nice. Mm-hmm. But once again, your antenna guru has to have the right qualifications. And some people you maybe need to take a second look at. He has this great idea for an antenna, but I don't know if that's on his resume. I'm not too happy about it. And some things you use at home, like a bed spring antenna, don't necessarily deploy well in the field. And of course, when you get some folks from the south there, they've got their redneck quad, and I don't know, there may be a few too many wires on there. I'm not sure. I hope the antenna tuner is up to that task. And boy, all your antennas transportable. We sure hope so. And you know, sometimes the greatest antenna on paper isn't the easiest to get to the site.
I'm dying. Just can't
My
stop
mini,
laughing.
my Mini
Sorry.
Cooper looks like that sometimes going to field day, and it's just not right, folks. You just shouldn't do that to a car.
Oh my goodness.
And of course, now this is the interesting thing. Now, out there on the chat room, I wonder if anybody sees what is really truly wrong with this picture. Yes, he's checking the SWR right at the feed point, but yeah, that's right.
You know,
He had forgot
Chip,
to take the coax with him.
Chip, don't you think that you ought to use steel or hard drawn wire there instead of just soft copper?
Well, I think that's a very good idea, but boy, you're going to check the SWR. You better not forget to take the coax to reconnect it there. I tell you. And you know, everything is great when you make your plans. Your portable antennas can go up nice and straight. There's TF3ML's portable tower, and boy, is that really a cool, nice-looking setup. But in actuality, did your thing look more like this? I saw an antenna like that at Hamcom down in Dallas that looked exactly like that. I gave it about 5 seconds. I said, "Watch this," and sure enough, yeah, that happened. Guys,
Well, that looks like one of those pictures you see why guys live or why women live longer than men.
exactly.
Yeah.
Captain Picard knows it's a push-up mast, not a tilt-up mast, you dolts. And if you do it wrong, that's going to happen, ouch, or that's going to happen.
Oh, double ouch.
So, you know, maybe you keep it simple. A beer can vertical has a very hallowed tradition in ham radio. Sure, that can work just fine. The frequency gets lower the more beer you consume, of course, and add the cans to the top. However, you need to do this with aluminum cans and not do the redneck microwave dish like this. It just ain't gonna work, folks. I'm sorry, it ain't gonna work. Nice
I'm also dying because the comments in the chat room are hysterical as everybody's watching this. So
Yeah, boy, that's I'm not sure what frequency.
someone
that
just said,
was.
"Hold my beer and watch me put
Yeah,
this
hold
antenna
my
up."
beer. That's right. Okay, so here's the thing where ham chicks rule. You probably need to do turn the antenna planning over to some YLs. They'll probably do a much more efficient job of designing the antennas. Operators and crew, you know, the people that get on the line and make it happen. Some field day groups are huge, like the gang at W3AO, always turn in tremendous scores every year. Some groups are not so big. This is our little KR6J operation. We came in the top 5 some years ago in the 2A category. 4 old guys on a hill. We had a great time. Big or small, of course, you need a team. However you do it, you need a team. That's a big version at think 3AO. It's a big version of the tent we had up in Wyoming one year. I highly recommend hospital tents, however big or small you can get them. They're a little spendy, but everybody needs to spend grant money.
Right.
Of course, you know that high-speed phone operators get your contact totals up. There's a lot of buzz about FT8, but folks, FT8 will only work maybe 20 to 30 an hour. Despite the contest mode there, you just can't get people to move fast enough. So this coming field day, stay on sideband and go to FT8 when sideband goes away in CW. You're just not going to get the rate. But sometimes your phone operators, you need to check their qualifications too, because they might be a little dicey. And of course, the CW guys, can get those 2-pointers. 2-point contacts are your friend.
Right.
But sometimes the CW operators' qualifications are not exactly what we're looking for to turn in high numbers of QSOs on field day. And of course, your digital guy wears one of these pins to field day. You're in deep, deep, deep trouble. These were circulating a year ago at Dayton, I think. And boy, your digital guy wearing one of those. I hope he's not planning on making contacts on JT65, because that's going to be real slow. Yeah, the station captains really need to be on the ball, and you don't want Mickey Mouse guys doing that. Need to be sure that they're all up to date on the very modern technology that we have at our disposal these days. They need to have great organization skills and be able to fix things on the fly. And above all, coil the coax.
Oh, man.
Coil the coax. Don't let your cables get out of control, because you'll never find what you're looking for.
Oh, I think we've all had field days where we open up a box and that's what it looks like.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, a big part of field day is getting new operators on the air. The ARRL introduced the GOTA program, the Get on the Air station, last year. However, there's always a group that doesn't quite get it right. And it's not a goat station, guys. It's a GOTA station. Get it right. Get help for your dyslexia. It's just, you got to get it right here, people. So when you get all your crew things organized, I hope you can have the kind of teamwork like we had down at CO0OS. Now, what you can't see is that I'm holding up the genial Cuban backside of one of the workers there, and that's
Here
that's Jorge, CO2II there in the dark blue shirt. He's very active on FT8 especially. I bet a lot of you have worked him. Great guy. Most of those fellows there have stateside call signs. They've been to the United States and have got call signs. I think that's blah, 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 blah. I can't remember the stateside call of CM2OY there. Anyway, moving right along. The best part of field day for some people is, of course, the field day food. They may not make one contact, but by gosh, we're going to have good food. There's field day food in Wyoming at WI7FD. There's all of our gang up there. Dwayne and Katie, Janet there, Bill and Emily, and Chris and Lightning, Leo, Silent Key, and the whole gang.
Oh, and there's Brian in the back, K.
Yeah, Brian, K708.
And Janet, is that Janet's mom?
I don't see Margaret there.
With the back of her head.
Oh, yeah, Margaret's back in Wyoming.
That's right. I thought she came with you guys that year.
Yep.
Oh, that's
So,
fun.
of course, the stuff, field day, just the aromas as we get around 6 o'clock at night are just amazing. Steak and shrimp for some people, brisket on the barbecue, just what's not to like about field day food.
Oh, my.
Why does someone always have to screw it up? Yeah,
Oh, no.
That's terrible.
everybody has to do a chili cook-off on field day.
No.
And you really need to watch your diet groups. Some are just not recommended when you're operating in a tent.
Goodness.
Burgers are fine on the grill. Brats, not so much. Brats and kraut, that's about as explosive a combination as you can imagine. And of course, it's just not operator discomfort and the need for Pepto-Bismol. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
that. So if chili you must have, at least try to harness it in some way so you get the 100 bonus points for using natural power. But if you're going to do that, there's absolutely no smoking in the area where you're collecting the stuff. Are you out of your Vulcan mind? No brats, no chili at field day.
Oh, my goodness.
But for field day, got to have a plan B. That's Febreze. So, 2019, in light of all of the foregoing, yes, you can still make field day 2019 better. You need to locate a site with calm weather, not this kind of weather. Make sure your power systems are ready and overrated for what you're going to need to do. Otherwise, suffer the consequences you will. You need to have a competent station captain. You need to make sure that your computer experts, a lot of us are logging on laptops now, running N3FJP or N1MM or any number of really great logging programs, but make sure that your computer expert knows what the CAP system does. By all means, organize the best antennas that you can possibly find. Gordo has spotted one there. Take steps to miss. You got to make sure there aren't distractions. Make sure that everybody observes all pertinent safety rules. Avoid dietary malfeasance as we have seen. And by all means, have yourself a great field day 2019. And may you be number one in your class. Thanks for viewing, everybody. Have a great field day. K7JA signing off.
Yay!
That was great.
Very good.
Yeah.
I've seen that as we, gave it a test run, but it still just cracks me up. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. Everybody's been laughing in the chat room and keeping
What could go wrong?
Well, it's a great fun way to look at field day. There's so much involved with it, but you really kind of covered all the bases in both, serious and, humorous way. And then always great fun. You put together wonderful presentations that are always entertaining and keep everyone engaged. And thank you so much for doing it, especially on short notice.
Oh, well, I'm glad to do it. I hope everybody works me. I'll be at N6 Hotel, California, up in the hills of Orange County.
Oh, very nice. That sounds
All right,
good.
and let me just say we haven't planned anything special for our webcast for field day, but if you guys out there at field day will just take your cell phone and record some video segments, send them to us, and we'll try to get them on the show. Keep them short. Keep them short. Give us a quick tour. Show us the food you have. Show us your operating stations and so forth. If you're having fun, show us the fun. Keep them short. Send them to us, and we'll try to put them on one of the shows real soon after the field day.
We'll send you a video of our modest little 110-foot tower trailer.
Okay, that's cool. All right. All right. Well, hey, let's move right on. Chip, thank you so much for being with us, man. Stick around the rest of the show if you want to. Something might come up that you might want to comment on.
Or you're free to disappear.
Or you're free.
I'll QRX, but Katie, if there are any questions come through on the chat, I don't have that up, and I'm afraid I'll blow it if I try to get it up with all these windows open.
Okay.
All right, we're going to take just a quick break here. We'll be right back. Contest from home or remotely. ICOM's IC9700 is now available in shipping. Create your own band openings with ICOM's newest SDR transceiver. This new radio is bringing direct sampling to the UHF-VHF weak signal world. Its all-mode transceiver is loaded with innovative features such as dedicated amateur satellite operation, color touchscreen, D-Star capability, RF direct sampling, dual independent receivers, and 100-watt maximum output on 2 meters, 75 watts max on 70 centimeters, and 10 watts max on 1.2 gigs. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has RF direct sampling, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receiver, and dual digiselect. Changing the way entry-level HF is designed, the 7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design, and it will far exceed your expectations. It has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios. All right, and we are back here with Chip and Katie and Dave. Oh, let's see. I know Dave's got something here, but we did promise to do a few shack pictures, so let me throw a few shack. Let's throw a few shack pictures in here. If I can figure out how we're going to do it different tonight. Usually I spend about 3 hours and I use Photoshop, and I put everybody's name on them and their address. I mean, not the address, but city and all that stuff. But we're going to try to do this differently tonight. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do it this way tonight. Let me go up and find the first one here.
Oh, there's Mark. And I wrote down a bunch of stuff so we don't have to try to see it.
Okay.
So our first one is...
wait a minute. Let me go back to the top. Let me go back to the top and see if I can get to the top here. Well, we're getting there. We'll be there in a second.
Oh, goodness, excuse me. I'm tired from laughing so hard.
Why is my system so slow tonight? Okay. All right. So we're going to do it this way tonight. So looks like here's our first shack picture that was sent into our Facebook group. Let me make it full screen, Katie. That way I think it'll help you also to read. Can you read it? Okay.
Yeah, but I don't need to because I wrote everything down.
Okay.
So this is this shack is Mark Whiskey 9 Mike Delta Kilo. He's from Muncie, Indiana, and in his shack he's got an FT 101D Mark II. It's also running the ICOM 7300, and he's got his power is coming from an RNL crafted power supply, and as you can see on that big old monitor there, he's running HRD for his.
Oh yeah.
So, oh gosh, I'm having a complete brain fart. Sorry.
HRD for, I guess he's using rig control or something.
I don't think the 101 allows computer control.
No, I'm sure he's doing it with the 7300.
Yeah, not sure.
So thanks for sending that one in, Mark.
All right, now let me see if I can get the next one here.
Alrighty.
We'll just scroll down. This is David Weidman.
I don't think I.
What is that? What is that right there?
Good gracious. Shack in development.
Did he...
Kilo Delta 4, Kilo Lima Juliet.
I'm not sure. Shack in development. That's KD4CLJ.
Yeah.
Looks like he took his shack organization from one of the slides we just saw.
Right.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe he was getting ready for field day there. I don't know. Let's see. Here's... Oh, no, that's our...
Oh, that's Tom's.
That's us.
All right.
We're going to get there. Well, now this is...
All right, there's James.
James sent his in.
And
he had two. He had a messy shack and a clean shack, he said.
Yeah, but I didn't write down James's stuff because it was...
Yeah,
I missed
okay.
that one. But well, that's James KB7TBT.
Yeah, we got another one of James here in a minute. Let's go on down. That one's a little blurry. Here we go. Here's James again.
Oh, there it is.
Here's his clean shack right here. So.
All right, there we go. Look at that, nice
looks a little bit better. That's a little old, but it was clean back then.
Well, that's what, a Yaesu 5000? I couldn't quite see there.
I couldn't either.
Let's see what we got here.
Start making it up.
Here's Ron.
K9ID.
Yeah.
You guys know Ron from the Hamfest, the T-shirt guy. And
Ron always donates some prizes. We give away hats for prizes.
Yeah. Ron's from Buffalo Grove, Illinois, and he's running the ICOM 735 using the West Mountain Radio's DSP. And he's also got what I thought was kind of neat, a 1924 vintage Vibroplex keyer. You can see it over there on the right. That is pretty cool. I think he got it if you look at his QRZ page, it's kind of great because he talks about all the things that he's found for really cheap by just searching around or hitting up garage sales or estate sales and finding some really neat things. So just goes to show you don't have to put tons and tons of money into your shack to be able to enjoy it and get on the air, which is what's important.
He's using a cheap $20 USB SDR dongle for a pan adapter. That's cool.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty cool.
Thanks, Ron.
Oh, here's our friend Teresa down in Texas.
There she is, KE5MUX. All right, so Teresa's in Mineral Wells, Texas, and she actually, the FT450D that she's using, she won at the Huntsville Hamfest. So that is pretty super cool. And she's got the MFJ 30 amp power supply and a Signal-Link USB. Now, the little critters there, she says they're called tentacle kitties. I don't know, but I'm wondering, that might be a good future segment where we can, show off who else hangs out in our shack with us. Whether it's
because there are a number of different
animals. I got the snake up over me, and you got to have a mascot in your shack. So, and of course, I got real cats
So those
Yeah,
are
puppy
tentacle
mill.
kittens. I never heard of those.
I haven't either, actually. They're kind of weird and creepy and cute at the same time. Buttercup, no. The cat, the big fat cat is thinking, oh, there's our video. No.
So
I know. They're
let's
like,
see
"Can I
what we
go
got
out?"
here.
No,
Well, he
you
didn't.
can't.
He didn't leave any information here, but this is W5WJN.
Oh.
I
They
think
missed his
he just
somewhere
sent
when
this
they
in. He just sent this in and said he couldn't sleep
Like
during the
that.
night.
Oh, okay. What do we got in there?
3,000 there. Yesu 3000.
Oh, okay.
FTX 3000.
And an Ameritron amp.
See you, Katie.
Bye. Bye, Chip. Must be dinner time.
Here's a
still
picture from
Still
Steve Austin. He's been working on his mic for quite a while and posting in our group here.
Oh,
You got him a boom there and a mic and a. I think I'm not sure where Steve's from. Maybe the UK. I'm not sure. Or he called that I don't know, a popper or whatever there, but he may be in the US. I don't know. I don't know where Steve is.
The thing in front is a pop filter.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it
Yeah.
keeps you from spitting and with your pus and stuff. All right. Yeah.
So here's AK7RM. That's nice
All right.
looking.
Oh, he's got looks like the Flex 6600.
Yeah.
And the
With the
Maestro.
Maestro.
Yeah. So he's running the SDR. That looks pretty slick too. That's one nice thing about the SDRs, radios. It doesn't take up much space, and you don't have wires everywhere. But
Yeah.
looks nice.
And he's got a 49-inch 4K monitor up there. He must have to set about 15 feet back to operate that thing.
Yeah. Wowza. I don't see any cool stuff hiding in the back that we can make up
Yeah.
stuff about it, but although those headphones look kind of old there.
Yeah.
And all right, let's see.
Were there any
There's
more?
that.
We didn't have too many of them that came in. I think it.
I wrote down about 8 or 9.
Here's Teresa said we didn't have a picture of her earlier, so here's a picture of Teresa. This is some of our admins here. There's John,
Yeah.
Teresa, Bob. Down at the bottom, there's Bill.
Right. Oh, you know what, Tom? I know where the photos are. You have to find your post that's asked for shack pictures. They're inside of that post.
Yeah, okay, we'll go back to it. So, well,
That's where I found all the pictures.
people will put some in there, but then they put them everywhere. So,
Yeah, I know.
let
That's
me
where
see if
I
I
found
let me
one
see if I can
took
find
notes
it.
on.
There's getting ready for okay. I'm looking for it. Round table.
So,
I'm looking for it. This may seem a little unorganized, but it sure saves me about 3 hours.
yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. So
There it
we'll look
is.
at this.
All
We'll
right.
look at this.
All right, so there's around there. See, I told you.
All right. So let me go in here and look. And oh, here's a. This is a cool.
This
This is
one
a cool
really
shack.
super cool. All right, so, all right, let me flip my pages. This is Joseph, K5YVY. He's in New Albany, Mississippi. And he and his wife just fairly recently moved into a new house, and he was told no antennas at the house or any wires. So instead, he got this cool little shed that they put on the property. And so he has his entire shack in this remote building. Right now, he's got some LED lights in there, but he's going to go solar with it. But he's got a 7300 inside there. You can't see any pictures, but just the ones from there. And then he's got a Gap Titan DX antenna as well as a high gain, excuse me, up on top. So he's able. Oh yeah, there is a spot inside. So he's got air conditioning, as you can see. I think it might be one of those dual heat and air conditioners, but it's got a nice little setup in there. Talk about a man cave away from the house.
Yeah, he can get away from the wife there.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't give her a key, she has no idea what equipment he has in there.
That's true. That's pretty nice looking for a little outdoor shed.
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed with that one.
Yeah, nice color blue lighting he's got there.
Yep. Okay. So now we have
Brian.
Yeah, that's Whiskey 9 Bravo Lima Fox. He's in Anderson, Indiana. And he's got two FT8900s, TS570S, the 746 Pro, and then outside he's got a 55-foot tower with a Mosley Classic 33 beam on it, Also, he's got a couple of UHF, VHF antennas on there, which you can see. So nice little setup. Excuse me. Looks like he just had some rain. Oh yeah, look at that. There's a rainbow behind his tower.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then Gary, all right, he's next. He's November 2, Echo Whiskey Mike, and he's in Binghamton, New York. Okay, now he doesn't share this on this picture of the photos. He's got a 746 that he uses for VHF. He's using a Heathkit SB 220 for 6 meters. He's got a Flex 3000. He's using the Palstar 1500A tuner, and he's got a Dentron MLA 2500 amp. Now, what's really neat, if I went over to his QRZ page, he has 10 towers.
10 towers?
10 towers set up out in his yard. So he's got that beautiful station inside, and then he's got a whole boatload of towers out in the yard.
I would imagine that he may have several
Notice
shacks.
over on the left, there's an old Radio Shack shortwave receiver.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and that picture you can see behind it, that's his photo that's on the top of his QRZ page. So I highly recommend, if you guys want to check out all of his hardware out in the yard, it's November 2 Echo Whiskey Mike. Go over and check it out on his QRZ page. That was really cool, I thought. Thanks, Gary, for sending that in. Oh, that's me. I said I was going to make stuff up if you guys didn't tell me what you had. All right, there's Matt. Kilo Yankee 4, Golf Papa Delta. He's from Georgetown, Kentucky, and he's got a Kenwood 281A. With a 3-element beam outside, and he also is on D-Star with his ID 51A, and it's got all kinds of good stuff up there in the shack. I'm not sure, he's got some medicine and other things, so I couldn't make it up.
This looks nice, kind of compact, kind of reminds me of being down in a submarine or something.
Yeah, that's John Whiskey 2 Delta Fox Charlie from Schenectady, Schenectady, New York. He's got the FTDX 3000. He's using the ALS 1306 amp. He's also got a FTM 100DR that's attached for wires. And then he's got an ID 5100 using the zoom spot with it. And another thing also with John's setup that he didn't share a photo of, he's got a really impressive setup for mobile operations. Again, if you check him out on QRZ W2 DFC, quite an impressive setup. I'm not sure how he manages to drive and do that, but he's pretty much got a mobile comm unit. Really neat to look at. Good stuff on his page.
And here's some antennas he's got right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Looks like a hex beam.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Wait a minute. Did I see an antenna on a neighbor's house? Let me go back to that. Quite a mast over there. I'm not sure what that is.
It might be one of those like cell towers in the distance.
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
Okay. So next is Randy, Whiskey 5 Radio Charlie Delta in Gilmore, Texas.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, isn't that pretty? Look at that. What's even better, we're on his QRZ page, his QRZ picture is with his corgis on his lap. He's got Sassy and Bandit. Super cute dogs, and also his wife is a ham. She's Kilo Echo 5 Yankee Sugar Juliet. So 2 hams in the family there. He's got his very first radio, an SB 102. It was his first radio that he got in 1978, and he's still using it today. He's got an SB 104 that he uses primarily for 40 meters. He's also got a Heathkit amp, and then he's got a TS 520S that he uses primarily for 80 meters. And he's got an FT950 that he pretty much uses for whatever he wants.
Oh man, nice! And I love the way he's got the color in there, the lighting. Yeah.
I'm gonna sneeze.
Yeah. And what do we got here? This is.
I had to mute things for a second there. Sorry. There's my buddy Robin, Gulf 1 Mike Hotel uniform, over in Wakefield in the UK. And Robin's got quite an impressive setup out there in their room. He's got 2 7300s. He's got the new ICOM 9700. He's got a 7200 and a 910 radio, which those are his backups, he says. He's got an ACOM 1000 and also that 2 gigahertz spectrum analyzer. Really neat stuff. And if you go over and check out his page on QRZ, you can see some more of the setup. He's with all of his antennas and radios. Robin's very active on the radio in the UK and with clubs there. And of course, we used to work together. And then Robin's friend Bob there, Whiskey 4 Papa Golf, they actually get together and visit quite a bit when Robin and his wife Ruth come over from the UK. Bob W4PG is down in Clearwater, Florida, and that is just a beautiful shack there with the, looking out into the trees, and really neat setup with all the radios in that curved feature. But he's got a TS990, and he's also using the Flex 6700. He's got the Expert 2KFA amp that he's using and then he's got an IC 910 that he's using for VHF, UHF, and really nice setup. Bob was at Convention this year and totally managed to miss seeing him, so I was kind of bummed about that, but Bob, super nice guy. And there's his tower. He'll have found the tower, and Robin says, it's kind of hard to miss, isn't it? Or lose, but he's got a Step IR up there. And I think that's a 55-foot tower, I think he said.
Looks like a crank up, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Back to Ron.
They're back to Ron. We did Ron already.
We've already done Ron.
Yeah.
And
we got Teresa. We did Teresa.
I think that may be all of them.
I think we're done.
It could be all of them. So, hey, thanks to everyone for sending in the shack pictures. And if you have not joined our Facebook group, please join it. Just do a search for W5KUB on Facebook. We've got about 7,500, 7,600 members. It's growing about 100 a week. So join us. Just do a search, W5KUB, and you can post your shack pictures there, or if you need some ham radio help, there's always somebody in there that can help you.
Yep.
All right. So, okay, let's go through our list here. We've done really well covering everything. It's time to get Dave in here and talk a little bit about.
I'm sure the Augies are waiting.
Everybody is probably waiting for Dave here, so let's pull Dave in here and see what he's got. Hey, Dave, what's going on in your world?
Well, I'm got kind of backed up here on my Ask Dave videos. I've got 2 radios waiting to be reviewed. One is a DM1701 from Baofeng, which is a DMR radio. And all Baofeng's DMR radios are sold through Radioddity. So that arrived recently. I also have the Anytone D878 UV Plus, which is the one that has both GPS and Bluetooth, and that's here to review from Bridgecom. I did a video interviewing one of the Bridgecom marketing people, and it's already uploaded to release tomorrow at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. And I've had a number of people pester me to review my FTDX 3000, so I guess I better do it. I've only had it about 3 years. One of my Augies told me that the Islands HD1, which is a popular DMR radio, now offers 200,000 contacts in its memory, which is good because the list of people who have DMR IDs is growing very rapidly, and they passed the 140,000 mark that the old HD1 had. I'm going to be in Reno the 19th and 20th of July. I'll actually be there the 18th and the 21st also. I'm going out as far as Reno. My wife's going into the Bay Area to visit an old friend, and I'm going to be left on my own for 4 days. So it should be interesting to see what's going on. So I am certainly trying to stay busy here. I'll show you one little item I picked up at Dayton. This came from Alex of Alex Loop Antennas. This is a little clip-on. You clip it onto the antenna, and then this little light in the front glows depending on how well the antenna is tuned. So I'm going to do a short video about this. I've got not an Alex Loop, but I've got another portable loop antenna, and I'm going to try it and see how well it goes. But the idea is you just tune for maximum brightness, and that's the end of your tuning. That would make things a lot easier to tune. Yeah, the short depth of field is actually artificial, by the way. My computer decided it was going to do that. And that's what's going on here, staying very busy. And the thing on my calendar tomorrow that's so exciting is a visit to the dentist. So I've got to find something to do with Ask Dave to get my mind off the dentist.
Right.
And there you have it. Back to Ned.
All right, and everybody, just go out to Dave's website, go to his YouTube channel. Let me put it back up here. Dave, where are you?
Sitting in his chair.
I just had it on here. Now I've lost it. Let's see, Dave Kessler. Well, that'll work right there. That'll work. So Dave, give them your address of your YouTube channel where people can find you out there.
Yeah, I think Dave Kassler works, and so does David Kassler. They haven't figured out who I am, really.
Yeah, I think if it's about anything with your name or whatever, it'll get there. They're pretty good about finding it. There's a little better lower third here for you. Okay. Well, y'all go check Dave out on YouTube. Check out his Ask Dave or Dave Kassler videos. I think you'll enjoy them. All right, well, guys, we had about a 10-minute late start, but we recovered and we made it tonight. I think the show was pretty good. We got through quite a few things here that were on our list to do. Riley Hollingsworth is supposed
talking.
Do what?
I said we managed to actually keep talking.
We did. Hey, in the next week or two, Riley Hollingsworth is going to be on. He was going to be with us tonight, but he had a commitment that he had to go to. So anyway, Riley is going to be, Riley is heading up the new ARL volunteer monitoring program, and he will be giving us an update on that. And as you know, Riley was the chief enforcer for the FCC. He was a special counsel to the FCC for many years and was involved in a lot of enforcement of ham radio. So this works really well. His new role with the ARL volunteer monitor job. Hopefully we're going to do something with a balloon here again soon. I want to do the sushi balloon and get it going. We had 3 attempts. Didn't quite make it around the world. We only went 14,000 miles on our longest one. We did make it past China and Japan, and that's where it went down. We lost the other 2 in Africa. We don't know if somebody's shooting them down or what's going on over there, but the next one is going to be hydrogen sushi balloon. It's going to fly much higher. We're going to try to fly it at 41 or 42,000 feet. That will put us above most of the storms. The 31,000 foot we've been flying in the Mylar balloons put you right on the edge of some of these storms, and that's not good. So we got to get a little higher, and we'll use Whisper on it. The problem with our APRS tracking is there are no APRS tracking in Africa or the Middle East. So once it passes the Azores, we lose it for about 4 days, and then it shows up when it hits China. It shows up, and we track it in China and Japan, and then of course we'll lose it again over the Pacific Ocean. So with Whisper will transmit about 7,000 miles. So if it's over the ocean, it'll be heard back in Japan. It'll be heard in the U.S. So there should be much better tracking using Whisper. So we've got great hopes that that one is going to make it around the world a couple times. We're going to be at the Huntsville Ham Fest in a couple months. That's always a great one to go to. And well, that's all I got. What else you guys got? Katie, Dave, anything you want to last minute you want to talk about?
No,
I'm talked and laughed out.
You done talked out there, Katie?
Yep. Talked out, laughed out. Ready for
all right,
cup of
guys.
tea or
Well,
something.
I think we had a few new people in the chat room tonight. Thank you for joining the chat room. Please join our Facebook group. It's just called W5KUB. 7,500 plus members in that. I think you'll enjoy it. Let me just mention we've got, our show is also not only simulcast on shortwave, but we have a podcast, and the audio portion of our show is on an audio podcast. It'll probably be up starting tomorrow morning. It usually takes me till the next morning to get it going, but we've got a lot of people that are driving across the country or can't watch the show, and they're tuning in and downloading and listening to the podcast. So that's another way we're getting the message out to everybody. I'll say good night to everybody, and we enjoyed having you tonight, and see you next week.
Betcha. Thanks everybody for joining us, and appreciate you being there in the chat room and watching. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube after the fact, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. 73, everyone.
73.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.